Hello? Hi. I'm not sure, should I wear a mask or not up here? It's fine. Hello, everyone. When Auntie Denise asked me to be the bridge speaker today at Uncle Ralph's celebration, it was a no-brainer. This is an immense honor and privilege to be up here. And I cannot promise you that I will remain composed throughout, but we will do this together. Let's all take one collective breath. Life is but a journey taken on a train, with a pair of travelers at each window pane. I may sit beside you the whole journey through, or I may be seated elsewhere, never knowing you. But if fate should mark me to sit at your side, let's be pleasant travelers. It's such a short ride. And I think each one of us can be so grateful that Uncle Ralph came and sat next to us on the train, cared for us, loved us, made us laugh, stayed committed and devoted, imparted wisdom and lessons. What an immense blessing to travel together. Let's all put one hand on our heart and take a collective breath of gratitude for Uncle Ralph. If you like, you can keep your hand on your heart. It regulates your nervous system. Welcome everyone to the celebration of Uncle Ralph. I call him Uncle, but of course he goes by many different titles. He said that it may look like he's running a little late, but actually he has been here this whole time. And eventually we will learn how to see in a different kind of way. Just like all of those who are streaming from across the world, They too are not physically here, but they are also here. And a warm welcome to all of you. Your presence is felt. Let's take another collective breath together. We have arrived. To start the celebration, can I ask you to all pick up your roses? Melissa, Robin, Denise, and Ralph's mommy, Mrs. Cupido, will be coming out of their front door carrying 4 things that remind them of their father, husband, and son. Once the candles are lit, please step forward and add your rose to the basket as an expression of our shared grief and shared connection to Uncle Ralph. And our beautiful band will be playing Perhaps Love.
Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort, it is there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer, it wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memory of love will see you through. Love to some is like a cloud, to some as strong as steel. For some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. And some say love is everything, and some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain, like a fire when it's cold outside, or thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you. My memories of love will be with you. Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort, it is there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer, it wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memory of love will see you through. Love to some is like a cloud, to some as strong as steel. For some a way of living, for some a way to feel. Some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. Some say love is everything, and some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain, like a fire when it's cold outside, or thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be for you. my memories of love will be with you.
Thank you, that was beautiful. I would like to invite Melissa de Souza Alves to say a few words. When Uncle Ralph was diagnosed with cancer earlier this year, Melissa organized a bone marrow donor drive at the city of Cape Town for Uncle Ralph. Through her efforts, the Bone Marrow Foundation has many more donors, and for that, we are grateful. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to Alf and Jaffa as well, and the family would like to say a heartfelt thank you to all of Uncle Ralph's colleagues at the City of Cape Town. He loved his work and was passionate about making a difference, even if it was challenging sometimes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just would like to thank the family for the honor, and I think for asking me to speak on behalf of Ralph's colleagues at the city. It really is a privilege. Ralph joined the city in July of 2011, which gives him about 11 years of service. And throughout his time at the city, he has certainly made a big impact on every single person he encountered, irrespective of how much time you've spent with him. In asking colleagues and myself to, put words together and to send through their memories of Ralph, what I found is that there are common words that come to mind, or rather that they've shared and experienced, when engaging with him. So these are that he was always a kind person. He was gentle, humble, calm. He had a peace about him that, really sort of filtered the room. And to me, that really showed me that he was always consistent with everyone. And this is really true to his nature. He was extremely passionate about his work, always willing to help anyone, irrespective of how busy he was. I recall that a few colleagues had said that they would phone him up, and he would be extremely busy, and he would always tell them, look, give me a minute. And true to form, he would phone them. He never complained about how busy he was. In fact, you never knew he was busy because he was so well composed, and he would always get on with it. And in everything, he always went beyond the call of duty. And I think Alf would also know, and Shifadine, he was the first one at work, and in many cases, the last one to leave. He has certainly left a massive gap within his team. However, a better mentor his team could not have asked for. He truly embodied the principles of being a civil servant, someone any colleague could look up to. In fact, many of his colleagues that I spoke with said that he really has set the benchmark for any city employee. He was quiet and never spoke out of turn. And even if he knew the answers, he would allow you to first speak and finish off, and then politely, provide some correction or improvement. And he would always find a solution to some of the things that seem so impossible. And I think it's also just rooted in the fact that he had such deep institutional knowledge and extensive experience in his field. He never tried to take the limelight. And again, it's just because of his humbleness that really shone through. And we all knew him as someone that was extremely intelligent, and often we would have some events at work, and he would often try and shy away from them. And one particular event was a pretty crazier themed day that we had at work. And on this particular day, we were all required to wear some kind of outrageous hat. And those who did not bring a hat, we made one out of paper with elastic bands that you tie over your ears. So Ralph was one of them that wore the handmade hats with the elastic bands. And he was rather hesitant because we wanted to take a group photo, but he was a true team player. And when we took the first photo, he hid behind the one with the tallest hat so no one would notice that he was there. So, I mean, it was such a good day, and it was really, it was great that he could just, participate and I guess look beyond that. But we have the evidence. So. And while we remember him as a great colleague and someone to aspire to, he not only was a hard-working person and excelled at everything he did, he showed real interest in people, in his staff, and anyone he encountered. And he has always been described through everyone I've spoken with, and even myself, a motivator. He's been seen as the father figure, a mentor, an encourager, and someone who really pushes people beyond what they think their limits are. He was a great listener, and I think if you may know, in some of our meetings we'd had, he would sit quietly in the corner just listening to every single word as if he's processing all this data coming through, like many of his spreadsheets that he's developed. And of course the outcome or his output would always be, of great wisdom and, in-depth knowledge. If you spoke with Ralph for 5 minutes, 30 minutes or hours, he left a piece of wisdom, left one feeling calm and nuggets of knowledge. And when you have spent enough time with him, you would truly know how much he loved his family. And that, of course, Denise, Melissa, Robin, and his grandson, whom he was extremely proud of. And I think if you ever spoke to him about his grandson, his eyes would just light up. He loved him so much. Everyone at the city is missing him, and we feel the loss. We really miss him so much, and we likely will continue to miss him. He has left a legacy with the city, which I suspect will continue for years, if not indefinitely. He has made a massive mark, and will be always the person we will compare everyone to. One often wonders or thinks about why we miss people, and it's really because he has given each one he has encountered at work some kind of hope, comfort, knowledge, shared his experience, patience, and encouragement. If we at the city, whom have only spent our working hours with him, sometimes only minutes via email or telephonic call, if we feel that he's left such a mark in us and he's imparted such goodness, how much more has he not given to those he loves the most in his family? And I know, of course, they will truly deeply miss him. And while the world and, of course, the city has lost an amazingly good person, his legacy will continue to live on within his family. And that's the hope we have still within this world. And again, Ralph, from the city, we will definitely deeply miss you. And until we meet again, your colleagues from the city. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Melissa. We are deeply appreciative of everything that you've done. The next song is one that pulls at our heartstrings, but one I think reflects how we are all feeling right now. All of us are asking why. Ralph was a hero that we all knew, and yes, we are jealous of the angels today.
Didn't know today would be our last, that I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore, praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe. There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Always made my troubles feel so small. You were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, well, God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I'd see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing hallelujah. Jealous of the angels around the throne tonight.
Thank you. That was just really beautiful. The next tribute, I invite Ralph's sisters to share a message from the Cupido family.
Can I hold it? Huh? I'll hold it for you. Excuse me. You alright? Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Barbara. This is my sister Madeline. Today, we are honored to speak on behalf of our family as we celebrate the life of our brother Ralph. We are filled with deep sadness and disbelief that we have had to bid farewell to one of our pack. But today is a celebration of a wonderful, full life that was full lived. Ralph was the darling husband and soulmate to Denise, daddy to his special girls, Melissa and Robin, and papa to Luke, his grandson, whom he loved and adored. He was Simon and Amelia's youngest son, a much adored brother of his siblings and their spouses, and a special uncle to all of his nephews and nieces. All his friends, colleagues, and family from around the world and present here today are a testament to the man he was. His start to life as the fifth child of seven certainly was not gifted with a silver spoon. As is to be expected, he had to jostle and negotiate his place and his voice in the pack. But with acuteness, humor, mischief, and his adventurous spirit, he sealed his place in the heart of each of his siblings, and with the passage of time, transformed from being the naughty boy who was going to give Amelia a heart attack or a stroke, she still hasn't had one, to becoming a pillar in our family and a source of guidance and wisdom. He was a support to each of us at different times and in different ways as we needed it.
In Ralph's early years in Warm Estate, we had lots of time to roam the streets and even venture across the Vaal Drive with his big brother and sisters. We'd often roll into the house and with scrapes and bruises on our knees, arms and heads from crashing down Park Road on a rickety wyntjie that Dennis had built for us, filled with dennerbolle. Ralph and Cynthia, at a very young age, both under the age of 6, tested the family Austin, causing quite a commotion. He smoked his first cigarette, aged 3, under a pile of washing, with a hole in Mommy's Sunday dress showing the evidence. It was a magical time. On our family trips to Trafalgar Baths, Ralph clung to our father's back as he swam laps with Ralph on his back. Theirs was a special relationship. He was our dad's little prodigy, and our dad saw so much of himself in this mischievous, cheeky little boy. Moving from the city to rural Kraaifontein brought a whole new set of challenges for us. Ralph embraced that freedom and adventure that this country environment offered. He also became a big brother to Sharon and Barbara, who were born there, and he took great delight in teasing and terrorizing them. He convinced them that they had no right to speak because they'd been bought on the parade as slaves. Kraaifontein is where his bond with nature started and would follow him throughout his life. He had cow-foot adventures in the bush, trapping birds and bringing home snakes to freak the living daylights out of his little sisters. And yet, all they wanted to do was just to be around him. He was their hero in naughtiness. We had such a joyful childhood. We may not have had stuff, but we had so much more. We thrived on each other's company, playing cards and board games, competing and falling out over the one bike that Dennis built, amongst other things. Each night we would sit around the custom-made table for dinner while we touched base and downloaded the goings-on of the day. This is where his interest in politics and debating started to develop, with a father who openly voiced his opinions about the authorities and the ruling party of the day. Ralph was our stand-up comedian, and a typical end to our Sunday lunch was with him getting up and mimicking and making fun of everyone and anyone around. He was a master at imitating the ministers in church and took great delight in copying their mispronunciations. We loved it and laughed our heads off. He acted in youth productions, played guitar and sang, and now the only person in the family who is musical and can sing in tune is gone.
We lost our dad at a time that was crucial to all of us. Ralph, only 14 at the time, missed his father and lost his way a bit. And did some crazy stuff, which is normal for many adolescents, for a while. But it is in this time that he formed lifelong friendships, developed his love for politics and Abdusa, and took his first step toward a career doing an apprenticeship at Globe Engineering. He started to become a man, and after that time, in the wilderness of confusion, Ralph went to Joburg to live with Cynthia. He was given a second chance, and he grew in so many ways. His job flourished, he became a union shop steward, grew his creative talents, and met and fell in love with his sweetheart Denise, who became his wife. The tie changed and grew together into the solid family we see today. Ralph certainly stepped up to the plate with Denise by his side, especially where our mommy is concerned. They would regularly pick her up, take her out on outings, and just make her feel like she mattered. This gracious support was what made their union so special, and we cannot convey more clearly what peace their harmony gave us. Thank you, Denise, Melissa, and Robin, for helping our brother and uncle have such a happy and fulfilled life.
Ralph made his exit with such swiftness and dignity, so becoming of him. He lived and finessed his life. He was a man who did not court fuss and attention. This is why he served through life, going beneath the radar. Derek aptly stated that he quietly did his best for the ones he loved. He was an ever-present, strong foundation for the family, a firm hand to hold on, and a true friend to many. Many did not know Ralph the way we know him. He didn't blow his own trumpet about his successes and achievements, except maybe his pride in his girls' achievements. Of course, he was proud of that. But when you made the time to sit down and listen to him, Ralph's wisdom, integrity, and wit quickly showed you the depth of the man. He had a way with words and cleverly used them during his illness to mask the tough journey he was traveling, and was able to hide the gravity of his illness. And then he quietly slipped away and left us dumbfounded.
As one of his nephews, Glenn, put it, I lost the coolest, kindest, strongest, and one of the humblest uncles I have. When I was younger in the Craventon house, I wanted to be him. I used to think, geez, this guy's awesome. And the stories I heard made him even more so. But he wasn't just a special uncle to me, he was special to my cousins as well. They all remember the profound conversations with him about all sorts of things, whether it was about growing up, our family roots, or what to look for in a girlfriend. Jocelyn recalls how he asked Uncle Ralph to share some of his secrets on how to win over a girl's dad. The advice he gave was to be persistent. You have to see the girl's father like a cement wall. It may appear hard on the outside, but if you chip away at it, that wall may come crumbling down. Another instance of shared wisdom was when Uncle Ralph took some of the boys on a hike up Table Mountain. They rushed past him only to end up lagging in a puff as he overtook them, outshining them in their effort to get ahead. This was an opportunity to teach them a valuable lesson in life. Justin says he often repeats to himself the words uttered by Ralph on that day. Don't be in too much of a hurry. Always remember that slow and steady wins the race. Yes, Ralph was wise with advice. He gave the kids such as regarding careers, start with one trade now, but become a jack of all trades, because if you lose a job in one, you can work in the other. And he wasn't short of praise. He let our kids know when he was proud of what they achieved.
Those who came from overseas valued how he introduced and initiated them into the South African identity and showed them what being a regte, echte Kaapenaar was about, even taking them to the Koen Carnival. He is remembered by his nephews and nieces as someone who had a presence. From his Isuzu Bakkie to his red Beetle, Ralph was always there. More than his amazing soup, other culinary dishes and his stories, Dylan says, I remember Ralph and Denise being there in our darkest hour. From the hospital to Lucian's passing and the days that followed, they were there. I remember them showing up one morning with bags of groceries, and they kept on coming. I recall how upon thanking him, his response to me was, it will be a sad day when family don't help each other.
Ralph's quiet presence was a comfort and source of strength. He could make you feel safe and was never judgmental, even if you knew you were not supposed to take the plants from Table Mountain or bring home a jellyfish from the beach and pop it in the fridge. It didn't matter where in the world you were. Uncle Ralph could pull his family together and protect you and help you when the going was tough. He had your back. This was particularly evident with Sharon's battle in 2019. That's when we coined the phrase ring of protection, which was also evident when Dolly had surgery. You put that ring of protection around us when we needed you, Ralph. Now it's our turn to put that ring of protection around Denise, Robin, Melissa, and your family.
True to his life, Ralph wanted little fanfare at his farewell. In our virtual discussion, Cynthia is quoted as saying, to what we assumed his objections would be. And this is not for sensitive ears. Listeners, he's bum. We will do everything we want to do. And if he wants to spook us for giving him a great send-off, he can come and spook me. I think every one of us siblings are up for that, Ralph. It would be so wonderful to get to see you one more time. We hope that you're having a whiskey or a beer with Daddy, Uncle Cliffy, Lucian, and Mr. Sickle. And we hope that you're not missing us as much as we're missing you. Love you forever, Ralph. So, from Mommy and all of us, we say, to a fine son of Cape Town, a true gentleman and a stand-up man, Ambakachli, Totsiens, Salam, Shanti. We'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next song is Morning Has Broken, and I invite you all to sing along.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing,
Thank you. Uncle Ralph was a family man, but also someone that treasured his friends as much as his family. One of the hardest tasks Auntie Denise, Melissa, and Robin had to make was to choose a few friends to be here today. They wish it could be different. The next speaker is one of Uncle Ralph's longtime besties. Roger and Ralph have been friends for at least 40 years, which is such an admirable feat. And I can imagine that it is not the easiest task to decide on what to speak on for only 5 minutes with a friendship that has and is beside you for so many years. So, my dear Uncle Roger, the floor is yours.
Sorry. Good afternoon, everybody. Heartfelt condolences, Denise. I think I forgot my stuff at home. Ralph would have enjoyed that song, Melissa. It was a standard. I'm going to mention it in my talk as well. There's one I forgot about, with a little bit of help from my friends, was another old standard. Denise, Melissa, Robin, Luke, Liam, friends and family. One can never do justice to a life, any life. Memories and reminiscences will always keep Ralph around us. It's a story which will be remembered forever, for as long as there is family. One can really just touch upon some points, snapshots, and build up a collage composed of memories. It's a story of friendships and family spanning more than 40 years. It's a story that is reflected here today with many present. Ralph touched all of us. We just have to figure out how. In the normal course of events, one doesn't really do this. One lives, and in the manner of living, one touches other lives. Kraaifontein, this is where we grew up and came of age. A rural backwater then. Consciously, perhaps we didn't realize that South Africa was facing challenges and changes which we would only realize in hindsight. Just boys upon the verge of adulthood. And we did what young people do, live life and dream. A snapshot. Ralph, his cousin Adrian, David Langenhoven, approached me one day out of the blue. This town needs some action. Let's start a youth club. Okay, not a bad idea. 2 more young men were identified in Scottsville, Tangible Williams and Lionel Jacobs. The local Anglican church was asked for permission to use their hall, and we set about recruiting others. It was easy. Anyone and everyone was welcome. The youth came from all denominations or from none at all. Nothing much happened in Kraaifontein before that. There was the odd bicycle show on a Friday night. That's it. Ralph, if I recall, was the first chairman. That initial group became the family. We walked around Kraaifontein, even had a song. It was a hit at the time. But just change the program. Sister Sledge's hit, We Are Family. Anybody know the song? We Are Family? Aish. Ralph was a singer. Only he could hold a note. The rest of us were tone deaf. And then Ralph was given guitar lessons by another youth member. Soon he was belting out songs. Morning is broken. Where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? Country roads take me home. Cat Stevens, Peter Starstead, and John Denver. Later on, Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell, Linton Kwesi Johnson, and Bob Marley, among many others. This again was a magic touch. People are more likely to be attracted to the music man than to the rest of us, who just stalked and shot the breeze. Ralph, or maybe his sisters, I'm not sure about this, was into tie-dyeing. And he was into leatherwork, too. Years later, Ralph worked with 2 projects, or That's a bit of. He worked on 2 projects in Wuppertal. The one was the oldest shoe manufacturer in South Africa, founded in 1836, and the other project was on potatoes. Maybe this was the start of his interest in gardening. Anyway, the youth club planned many activities. Walks. The first one was to Denova. Young men and women meandering down a country road, and Ralph on his trusty guitar. Table Mountain trips. We would go by train. Concerts, usually houseful, and camps. Ralph liked making fire, anytime, any place. So Pella, Kylemore, Pineal, Homney Park, and Antonie's Flame. I can recall a loaded bakkie careening down Bainscliffe Pass, a scary trip, and everyone singing Pink Floyd's song, Another Brick in the Wall. This song was a standard of the 1980s school boycott. By this time, most of the friends were studying or working. A new organization was called into being in the same hall. That meeting was packed to the rafters, a cultural society dedicated to understanding the politics of the day and reading political material. Simultaneously, a demand arose from within that society to strengthen SACOS, South African Council on Sport. We initially established a tennis club and then a baseball club linked to the local softball club, Cresta. We'd bash balls over net until youth interested in managing the club took it over. Then baseball. First practice, Ralph on the mound, batting, play ball. The ball struck him on the lip, stitches were needed. That was the end of our active involvement in baseball. The club would go on without us. Photographs of Ralph after this time would show a distinctive gap where he said he could hang his cigarette. A dry sense of humor he had. Employment prospects and opportunities were few and far between in Cape Town. Many youth left the Western Cape to look for work elsewhere. Most ended up in Johannesburg or Transvaal, as Gauteng was known then. Ralph too. We had heard that he was selling the Weekly Mail, the forerunner to the Mail and Guardian, and we had heard that he had also met his soulmate. Remember, this was a time before cell phones. All communication was via the public telephone booth or snail mail. Fortunately, the Cupido home had a phone. Word would come back. So it was that when Ralph came home, we, the family, the friends, were invited to meet Denise Sickle in Klip Road, Grassy Park. There we were also introduced to her family, and the evening ended at Club Montreal in Manenberg. Obviously, these friends, by necessity, because they were in and out of each other's homes all the time, the respective families in a sense became everyone's families. So too with our partners. Their families became our families. By and large, that tradition has remained up until today. Births, birthdays, weddings, funerals. Many of us would be there. Ralph and Denise. From Grassy Park to Pelican Park and again to Pelican Park, back to Grassy Park and then Plumstead. Many of us would be there too. Ralph's surprise 40th birthday is still a memorable occasion to me. The chili bar. Then of course, fire. Pelican Park. That was in house number 1. It was someone's birthday. Ralph and I sat outside at the fire shooting the breeze. When he dug up his fire pit, he unearthed a clay pot with a mouth-watering stew simmering in it. In recent years, it was the braai and the potjie. Lastly, Ralph's green fingers. 3 Trentham Road was the first time I became conscious of this gift he had. A profusion of flowers growing along the walls, a massive lawn on which the children could play. And then here, Ralph has always managed to create an oasis around him. It's a beautiful place just to relax and enjoy time with family and friends. The warmth and love Ralph imparted to his extended family via music, food, and welcoming ambience will always remain. Somehow, Ralph has imparted part of his essence to all of us that will last forever.
Thank you so much for painting that picture, Uncle Roger. It was amazing. Our final tribute is from Melissa and Robin, and if you don't know who they are, then you're probably at the wrong celebration.
Hi everyone. Dad, we can't repay the lessons that you taught when we were small, or give you gift for gift the daily treasures we recall. We can't return the encouragement or loving words of praise in quite the way you did for us in our childhood days. But there is one gift we can give. It's all the love that you earned. For love is what you always taught, and love is what we learned. Thank you for all the laughs, the love, and beautiful memories, Dad. Even though you left early, you got to see us become what you always wanted. Strong, educated, independent women. Rest peacefully, knowing that you passed on a legacy and that we'll go forward guided by the lessons you have taught us. Thank you.
I would like to share a few words that my mom thought that my dad would want all of us to, she would want to share this, or he would want to share this message with all of us. When I come to the end of the road and the sun is set for me, I want no rituals in a gloom-filled room. Please don't cry, my soul has been set free. Miss me a little, but not too long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that we once shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey that we all must take, and each must go alone. It is all part of the universe's plan, just another step on the road home. When you are lonely and sick of heart, go to the friends we know, and bury your sorrows in happy memories. Miss me, but let me go.
Thank you, Melissa and Robin, for your bravery and your vulnerability. It's so admirable, and your father's smiling down on you right now. Before we move to the final part of today's celebration, I would like to say thank yous from the family. Thank you to Craig, Cindy, Joshua, and James for the music today. Thank you to Grant for making sure that his celebration was streamed without a hitch. Thank you to everyone for your messages, flowers, food deliveries, and calls. Thank you to Denise, Cindy, Sharon, Dolly, Barbara, Marilyn, and Mommy. Your support has carried us through our darkest days. Thank you for running around at short notice and for helping us make this celebration one Ralph will be happy with. To the Sickle family, to Mom for your love and support, Des for all Ralph's hospital gear, Eugene for driving down from Johannesburg to be here, Benito for helping us to get the live stream going. Collins, thank you for keeping Ralph's garden in good shape. To all our friends here and online, our riches do not lie in material wealth, but in having friends like you. Thank you for your friendship. And finally, thank you to our neighbors, Renee, Ellen, Bhavashni, Carmen, and Tommy for being the best neighbors ever. Finally, thank you to everyone for sharing this hour with us. As much as the family would love to spend time with you all, we have to keep each other safe and not mingle. If you would like a moment in Ralph's garden at the back, please feel free to spend a moment there. The family would love to have you over for some tea or something stronger, but since this is not possible for now, there is a gift for you as you leave. The family will be at the gate to say thank you and see you soon. We have arrived at the final part of today's celebration. This is not goodbye, but the start of a new kind of relationship with Ralph. The connection to Ralph is just as strong as it has always been. His presence is all around us, And I invite you to talk to him when you miss him or need some guidance, and then listen and see what you may receive. Can Gary, Bailey, Ellen, Roberts, Liam, Luke, and Riche please come forward to release the doves? The final song sums up Uncle Ralph's personality in so many ways. He always said there is a right way and a wrong way to do something, nothing in between, and his way is always the right way. So please join us in singing the final song with all of your heart.
And now the end is here, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too much to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned its charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I've laughed and cried. I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he is not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
probably special. Sorry. Thank you. We can meet the family at the gate slowly but surely. And also, if you want to go and have a moment in the garden, that would be beautiful.